J-E-L-L-O.
The Jell-O program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston and Phil Harris and his orchestra. The orchestra opens the program with Latin Quarter from Gold Diggers in Paris. Every woman knows there's something mighty satisfying in being not only a good cook, but a thrifty cook as well. And you'll find Jell-O is a big help in planning thrifty meals. It costs only a few cents a package, and one package serves the average family generously. And Jell-O makes a perfect dessert, appetizing, attractive, delicious. For it brings you that extra rich fruit flavor, a flavor that's deep and luscious and satisfying. Strawberry, raspberry, cherry, orange, lemon, and lime. All 6 flavors are crammed with this extra rich goodness that makes Jell-O a hit with the whole family every time. It's so good to eat you can serve it several times a week. And it's so economical you can afford to serve it just as often as you like. But be sure to get genuine Jell-O. Don't accept any substitute for Jell-O's grand extra rich fruit flavor. Look for the big red letters on the box. They spell Jell-O. That was Latin Quarter played by the orchestra. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this being our next to the last broadcast of the season, we bring you a little man who had a busy year, Jack Benny.
Thank you very much. Hello again, this is Jack Benny talking, and Don, you're right. I'm just about worn out. Naturally, week after week with radio and pictures, it takes a lot out of you.
Well, at that, Jack, for a man who works as hard as you do, you're in excellent shape. How do you hold up so well? Where do you get all that energy?
Well, I'll tell you, Don, with Popeye, it's spinach. But with me, it just comes natural. Of course, I do have an egg malt now and then, you know?
Oh, but no kidding, Jack. It's really amazing how you keep in such good condition.
Oh, it is, Don, it is. Why, only this morning, when I was shaving, I looked right square in the mirror and I said to myself, Jack Benny, how do you do it? How do you do it? I tell you, it's unbelievable.
Yes, it is, Jack, but I must repeat, you look marvelous.
Thanks, Don, thanks. Say, Jack. Yes, Phil.
You know, that's a pretty bad sign when you start talking to yourself.
Well, I wasn't really talking to myself. I was just thinking out loud. Don't you ever think out loud, Phil?
Not around here, you'd fire me.
Now, wait a minute. This is a free country and a free program. Nobody has to be afraid to speak their minds around here.
Oh, they don't?
No.
Well, in that case, Jack,
You look lousy.
Hello again, this is Ben Hitchcock Cross talking to you today. And Don, well, I'm here, I guess, just to tell you, I recorded this video, I think on Saturday, it's the 25th of October here. I recorded this on Saturday, spent a whole lot of time trying to get goat videos lined up with Jack Benny, and then in the end I realized that I didn't have the recorder mixer on, so that was a fun afternoon. Yeah, so here we are. I want to talk to you today about summary judgment, and where I am right now in my life is that nobody has anything over me right now. I filed summary judgment. It was a week ago, Monday, and I have, needless to say, made a few promises to all, got a hold of everybody, made sure that everybody's fine, checked in, taking care of what I need to take care of, and here it is Wednesday after that. Yeah, Monday was my birthday, so I did take somewhat of a day off. I think that's the Apple footage there, but holy smokes. So, a lot of you know I have goats. Believe me, I make no secret of it, especially at the introduction here. That really is my little, that goats, the habitat restoration, that whole project, that whole thing, that land, that part of my life is really something that gives me a lot of reserves and energy when you got to go and fight all of this. And so when you see me able to sit there and say thank you for that opinion, I'll keep that in mind for future reference, for example. All of which, by the way, most of my good responses like that are unabashedly stolen from P.G. Woodhouse's Jeeves. Sometimes other people from P.G. Woodhouse. The Ninth Earl also has some good moments himself. So don't you sometimes find? So that was me there. I am really here to talk to you about one thing, which is this is how a federal court case works. You file the complaint. If there's a motion to dismiss, you pass that, then you've got discovery. That is the time to put up or shut up, get all the facts that you have that you need, because there is going to be a dispositive motion coming, and that's going to say, nanny, nanny, boo-boo, you don't have enough facts to prove this case, so we don't have to go to a trial, or we win anyways because of this, that, and the other fact. So what happens there is you have to, and I've talked about this enough because I'm still traumatized, you have to get all of your facts, which usually include 5, 6 transcripts. They've got their own transcripts. You may have evidence, Exhibit A at page 23, BHC affidavit. You've got to have some link. Here's the whole point. You are making an argument to a federal court about what should happen. You've got to, for this particular thing, you've got to have what are called proposed findings of facts. Okay, all that means is, here's what I think happened. Okay, it's basically, fact is going to throw you off if you think about it like that. What has to happen is you've got to say this is basically a proposal of a fact. That's really hard kind of concept to think of. But you're basically saying this is what we allege is true, and then you have to cite to somewhere in, record, meaning the evidence that you've gotten, not something that you've kept behind or that you know or whatever else, but that's actually spoken out on the record. And you've got to attach those two statements together. You've got to get a fact statement combined with a supportable citation to the record, okay? Part of my job there is to take all of those, and in this particular case I was working at, the limit was 150. Well, they had like 420 or something like that, because that's what they did. There was 2 of them, whatever. So we have to go through all of those and say, that's not so, or we agree with it, okay? So you have to think, if you agree with something, you can lose the whole case if you're agreeing with the wrong thing. So you got to do that, and you got to go through the transcripts. Needless to say, I'm blurry-eyed because you have to go follow all their transcript citations, go to that, go back, check it out. That doesn't say what they say it says, or we object. Here's another fact. Your whole goal there is to say that these facts are to knock out these facts if you can, especially the crucial ones, or to show another fact that competes with that. Because the judge can't make a decision about whose fact wins, only the jury can in this kind of situation. So you go past summary judgment if you've got a competing fact, okay? That's the name of the game there. But then I have to then, and this is us, have to, I don't want to, this is a big deal, and we put a lot of work into it. The firm did. I was working with a lot of people here, and that was awesome to have a team, because believe me, I couldn't do it by myself. But what I'm focusing here on is going through all of these documents and saying, no, here's what contradicts it, but here's on this page. Here's another page where it contradicts this. The boss says, I didn't have anything to do with filing this report. Well, person A says she did. Person B says she did. Here's the citation. Person C says she did. Her secretary says that she saw her edit these kind of reports all the time, okay? You got to have that kind of information and cite them all together. Yeah, I didn't do anything else really for about 2.5 weeks. And what I'm really trying to focus here on is so much of what I was doing this last week, even up until, gosh, time flies, tempest fugit, is dealing with the fallout of all that situation of what happens when, I'm working on a project for 3 years and it comes down to 3 weeks. And here we are. And one of the things that I can't do is, maintain. Here's what happened. I had lost 3 goats. I'm dancing around it in a lawyerly fashion. I lost 3 goats. And some of those were good goats. And they're all good goats, but some of them were, friends. and some of them were important to the herd. Goats are herd animals, and what do? They so much of their personality is comprised of where their position is in the herd. And the number one killer of goats, in my experience, is stress. Well, I got to tell you, I don't even know how some of these goats died. And that kind of is just, you know, we can't be there. We can't do everything. And God, I wish I could say, yeah. But Lala, for example, the orange dog, was at large the last time I went there. And, you know, I've got her here. She's got some home time. We're all sort of resting, recuperating. That's the name of the game here. So, you know, we miss those goats, and we're going to keep moving on. And the herd's going to keep moving on. And, you know, we go from there. But we are going to take a moment to recognize the cost of all of this. You know, for me to be at that Amory hearing means I wasn't there all night with my kids. And, you know, there's all of those moments when they could have been telling me what an idiot I was, and we missed out on that opportunity. You know, that's what I'm talking about. So I also want to mention the people who, you know, are the victims in the first place, who are you know, getting the discrimination here. But I want to say that more than anything, that standing up for people's rights isn't free, as we say, both in terms of my time, but also just in terms of my, you know, I'm trying to say that I acknowledge that it takes a lot of work to stand up and say no. And my job is to do that on behalf of other people. And I really appreciate it when they give me that honor and that opportunity to do that for them. But, oh my gosh, I had a client, this is what I hopefully will wrap up with this last week, who said, you know, I'm a tough guy just like you are. I'm mean just like you are. But for some reason, you have a lot more practice doing it, and that's why I hire you as my attorney. So, that's my story. I appreciate everybody who stuck with me. Thanks for listening to the Jack Benny. I think for whatever cultural value that had, I hope you appreciate it. Boy, times have changed, and I don't think that would be on prime time today. But nevertheless, I appreciate you sticking with us. We'll keep you informed.